Hey guys, how's it going? It's Alex of Coyote Star Astrology, and this is my new moon in Libra video for September 28th, 2019. And in this video, we're going to be talking a lot about many people's favorite topic, or at least a huge focal point of their interest when it comes to astrology, which is the topic of relationships, because we have a lot of Libra happening in the chart during this new moon. I'll pull up the chart so we can have a look. So of course, when we have a new moon, this is when the sun and moon conjunct, and we have them next to one another at 5 degrees Libra, forming our new moon. And then we also have Venus and Mercury conjunct in Libra as well. So there's a little Libra cluster in the chart, and because this is all happening in Libra, Venus is really the star of the show in this spread right here. And this is a really beautiful little cluster. Venus kind of looks like a sapphire surrounded by little diamonds to me in this spread, because this is a very Venusian lineup. When we have Venus in the spotlight, this is very much focused around beauty, harmony, romance, wanting this kind of fantastical, idealistic reality, very much when it comes to our relationships and creating beautiful situations and unions within those that we love. Libra not only rules our romantic relationships, but it also rules all of our sort of long-standing interpersonal relationships. So our friends, our roommates, our business partnerships, etc. So this is a beautiful little spread on its own here. And because we have Mercury, there's this element about it where there's going to be some communication happening this week. And Libra is concerned with harmony. I like things one way, you like things the other way. When we have two beings come together, this is why Libra is the scales in the zodiac. There's this balancing act that has to occur. When two people are trying to get along and come into peace and harmony, there's often a lot of this kind of push-pull and meeting halfway type of energy that Libra really represents. So this is kind of like teamwork makes the dream work, the motto. We have this new moon in opposition to Chiron in Aries. So we have this Chiron element coming through, which means that there's a healing element around this new moon, or this kind of shamanic, transformational energy, if we so choose to meet it that way, where we have the opportunity to experience some kind of healing within our relationships this new moon because of that Chironic element. But we really want to look at what Venus is doing again, because Venus rules Libra. And when we'll talk about the positive first. First of all, Venus is in sextile to Jupiter in its home sign of Sagittarius. So this has us really magnetizing relationships into our life at this time that have this expansive element to it, and it's in Sagittarius, so there might even be an expansive spiritual element to the relationships this week and on the new moon, where we want to get together with others and expand in our life with them in ways that might be offering new horizons or new experiences and opportunity for growth in a really, really beautiful way. However, the fantastical nature of these visions that we're having are under pressure right now, because the other thing that's happening with Venus during this spread is we have her in a very constricting square from Saturn in Capricorn. So it's unfortunate, because normally when Libra season comes along, we're in Libra season now, we had the sun go into Libra at the beginning of this week. Libra is kind of one of those signs where when someone says, oh, I'm a Libra, it's one of those signs that people really have a hard time thinking of anything negative to say about a Libra. I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that they are ruled by Venus. So Libra is kind of known as one of the more easygoing signs, or the more quote unquote positive signs by many people. And I think when Libra season comes along, there's often this kind of like, yay, it's Libra season. But when we have Saturn in Capricorn, unfortunately, this means that there is this tense element within Libra season because Capricorn squares Libra. So we're looking at that in this new moon, as we can see. And what does this mean? This means that there's some kind of reality to face, potential external situation that's putting Venus under pressure, and our relationships as a result under pressure. And we've probably been feeling that the whole week up until the new moon. So it's not anything we're unfamiliar with by Saturday. It's been happening all week. We also have Pluto squaring both Venus and Mercury all week. So there's a very transformational element within the discussions that we're having within our relationships this week. And we're really able to dive deep into our feelings this week to uncover aspects of things happening within our relationships that maybe up until this point were just simply subconscious. And when our feelings and emotions are held within our subconscious, they often surface in really odd ways that this week we might be bringing attention to, hopefully. So I think how this new moon pans out and how these conversations panned out really has a lot to do with how we're willing to approach them. And the thing we want to remember with Libra is that Libra, in its search for harmony and its desperate quest for relationship and union with other people, Libra can often say yes when they should have said no. And this is the not often discussed shadow of Libra, which is, I think, important for us to think about during this new moon. Libra can actually turn into a bit of a liar at the end of the day and can get into situations where they have not told whole truths out of this very altruistic and beautiful desire to make other people happy, to keep the peace. But this doesn't often work in reality down the road. So despite all this beautiful Libra energy in the chart, which might have us just wanting to come to some kind of resolution, meet someone halfway, we do need to remember that the cure for Libra's resistance to ruffling other people's feathers or creating waves in a situation, the cure to that is in the opposition, which is Aries. Aries has strong boundaries. Aries says what it feels, doesn't care what anyone thinks about it. Aries has strong likes and dislikes and has no qualms with making those known to other people. So it's about a balancing act where yes, we're meeting those we love halfway. And the ultimate goal here is this Venusian, idealistic, beautiful place of peace and harmony within our relations. But at the same time, standing firm in not only our boundaries, but also honoring the truth of our own path, which we discussed a little bit last week in the previous video. So this pressure that Venus is feeling, just like with any Saturn aspect, I don't think that we want to run from it. I think that we want to really ask, what is Saturn trying to teach me in my relationships right now? Because if we run from it, that's another shadow of Libra, is avoidance. Is like, no, this is too hard. I don't want to have this conversation. Can't we just pretend everything's okay? And these issues are likely to resurface. So actually this week is a really beautiful opportunity to have those difficult conversations. And because it's a new moon, and it's a super moon actually, so it's extra powerful. Because it's a new moon, we have this added ability to really launch from an entirely new place within our relationships in a way that we have never before, which can usher in this really beautiful healing quality that Chiron in Aries is offering. So again, I think it's about meeting halfway, remaining strong in our own boundaries and true to our own path, but at the same time, really coming from a place of maturity and owning up to our own shortcomings or our own wounds within the situation. Our character flaws, in other words, which Libra doesn't really like to look at a lot of the time. But because we have all of this Libra energy, I think that we have more than perhaps ever recently the opportunity for the individuals that we're having contact with to see us in a compassionate way. So it feels like a very safe and even-keeled platform to come into these uncomfortable discussions. Because Libra is very much about fairness and justice. So if the conversations feel hard, or if the situations at hand feel hard between you and someone that you're interacting with this week, remembering that Libra represents fairness, justice, it's the scales, it's really this desire to find peace, that we have a really good opportunity to find that this week. We just have to kind of like step up to the plate, come with integrity and honesty. And going back to the chart, I really see that, again, Venus over there looking like a little sapphire sparkling over there, surrounded by all of this Libra. Saturn putting her under that hard angle, that 90-degree angle. Saturn can really turn her into a diamond this week, and we can come into a place where we can achieve this really sort of elegant state within our relationships. And of course, this is bringing up balance within our own lives as well, especially if this Libra is hitting your first house. This might be, I have this ideal life or situation in my mind, but Saturn is teaching me some hard lessons around where I have fallen out of balance within my habits or my actions. One of the shadows of Libra is this kind of leisurely laziness. So for some people, Saturn in hard square to this Libra might be showing where we might have been a bit lazy, especially because Venus rules finances. This could be like showing where we have overspent our money or where we haven't allocated our finances correctly. It can show up in a lot of different ways, but I think the underlying tone this week is really just, if I'm experiencing tension, where is Saturn showing me that I am out of balance, and what do I need to do in order to come back into balance? All in all, I think a pretty beautiful new moon with a lot of potential for really leveling up in our relationships in a huge way. And I said it in the last video, but I'll say it again. The relationships that are meant to last are going to require work. You know, humans are drama. They just are. And the relationships that go really, really, really deep are often going to go through periods of little dramas that we have to work out with one another. And I think it's just about deciding, is this a healthy drama that I'm learning and growing from positively? And when we come to a resolution, do I really, truly feel like this is benefiting my evolution and my growth? Or does it feel unnecessarily dramatic, abusive, toxic, etc.? There's a difference. But if the interactions you're having this week, even if they do tend to come into conflict in any way, if they're ones that you would like to see grow and continue, then perfect week to come to some kind of understanding between you and those that you love in your life. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to reach out to me for a reading, I am available for that this week. I will put my website right here, and I'll also put it down in the description box. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next week.